through all of this over the last few years, you've never said anything bad about AEW.
Yeah.
And you've never said anything bad about your time in AEW.
Yeah. You want to change it? Say something bad?
Well, why have you taken the high road?
Yeah, I don't know if I consider it the high road. Maybe it is. How could I not, right? How AEW ended was terrible, really. And people are going to write books later on, and these stories are going to get out there, and then it's going to be a whole new ball game. But the actual experience and everything we did, I mean, and you're included in that. I'm in this Miami hotel, and we did our interview.
Yeah, I was on the first episode.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
So the actual...
I remember tracking you down backstage. You're wearing a beige trench coat.
Yep.
And I'm like, am I going to have an IFB in my ear? And you're like, I don't know. Come ask me later.
Great question.
That's a great question. And the answer was no.
Yeah, no.
The answer was, during the commercial break, we're going to shove you out there and someone's going to point at you.
Yeah. Good old fashioned, just these type cues.
And I was like, oh, I'm on. Okay.
No, I could never... You ever seen the end of The Dark Knight?
Of course.
I think that's, again, it's super convoluted, and I'm not comparing myself to Batman, but there's a piece of it that's really important. To certain fans from the AEW fandom, they need the story to be, they didn't want me, they pushed me. They need, he was bad, they need that story.
So you're the villain.
They need me to be the villain.
That Gotham needs.
Right, right. I was always fine with accepting that because of the respect I have for it in the first place. How difficult it was to do the original All In, how unbelievable the feeling was to do Double or Nothing, how fortunate we were that Tony wanted to invest in this vision, and he had a vision as well. How special Mad Nick in the BTE era and Kenny and my rivalry in New Japan, especially from a dollars and cents point, that made New Japan more money than anything they ever did. And it made Ring of Honor going through the roof at the time. So regardless of any petty squabbles, I will always have a love for it. I got to wrestle Brody Lee's final match. I got to lead people, young people, behind the scenes. I'll always have a love for it. So the idea that I'm sure there's some negative stuff. I go, oh, this sucked or what, but I just don't, I just remember it lovingly. And I also knew I was leaving. I knew it was a season. I knew this isn't going to last, and there's something greater for me out there. And I know that might sound negative to people, but it's not. Like, that's the biggest prize in the wrestling game. If you put on boots, that's the one. And I just wanted to go get it, and I had nothing but respect for my time there. I got to sharpen my skills, like Hulkamania in the AWA, right before it came to WWE. It's the same. Like, the energy was there. The renaissance was happening. It wasn't just company based. I think they're giving us the Iggy. His kids are giving us the but it was all there. And I just have a love for it because I got to sharpen my skills. And by the time I got to WrestleMania and WWE, I felt like, okay, I've come back a complete package. I'm in command of, this is how the music goes. I'm in command of who the American Nightmare is. And I can know that and understand it better than a writer or a producer. And thankfully we have all those things. But nothing but love. Nothing. I'm trying to think of something bad to say. Nothing but love. Oh, here's one. Okay. Here's one. Okay. I got it back. Okay. Uh-oh. This one's juicy. Wrestle purists, get ready. I hated that in the Young Bucks book, they said I was last to the signing, because that's a big thing. Some of the AEW defenders who don't realize they're turning people off to their product more than they're turning people on. That's one of the things that people always cite. Oh, he was last. He wasn't that big a deal to the origin. No. This guy here, who's off camera, was the first person to ever meet Tony. And he met him in a vetting process for all of us. So I yes, I guess I was the last. And yes, I had different thoughts. And it's not incorrect at all what they said.
That you were physically the last person.
Yeah,
to
like it's not
sign your name.
It's not incorrect, but I was just in on it as well as anybody else. And that's a little thing that